What's up, my fellow binge travelers? Today's video is very exciting, and if I'm being honest, it might be the best video I've ever made. And that's because today we are ranking every ride and attraction at Magic Kingdom, from the worst, bottom of the barrel, scum of the earth rides to the best you could ever imagine. And if that sounds interesting, let's jump into it. But really quick, big thanks to Love Hate Passion Peeps for suggesting this great video idea in one of my previous comment sections. And if you guys have more video ideas, feel free to let me know. All right, let's get back into this video. Okay, so let me get this straight. This is from the worst to the best, and the absolute worst thing at Magic Kingdom by far is the Monsters Inc. laugh floor. I did this recently. I remembered it being bad, but I didn't know it was this bad. Guys, the jokes are so unfunny. It's out of date. It should be back in the 90s, and it's still around. How is Stitch's Great Escape closed down and this is still open? Monsters Inc. laugh floor, the worst thing maybe on planet Earth. I need to make that video, but this is definitely the worst thing at Magic Kingdom. Okay, so this next one may surprise some of you because I know some of you, or the majority of you, may love this ride, but for me, I just cannot do spinning things, which is why it's so low. So the Mad Tea Party for me is the second worst thing at Magic Kingdom. I'm sorry for the Alice in Wonderland fans out there. I'm one of them, but the Mad Tea Party, it ain't for me. Okay, so the next one, all you history buffs out there are gonna hate me for, but for me, I don't wanna learn history at Disney World. So next up has to be the Hall of Presidents. For me, personal opinion, if you just wanna know who the presidents are, just Google it. It's far easier, or go to a museum or something. Just not a Disney World. Okay, so next up is a Disney classic, and I'm sorry, Walt, but the Enchanted Tiki Room is just not my type of attraction. When I'm going to Disney World, I'm not looking forward to going to the Enchanted Tiki Room. I know it's a classic, but it just ain't for me, so that's why it's on the bottom of this list. So next up is another Disney classic, and the only reason it's above the Enchanted Tiki Room is because it's kind of funny if you're with a group of people and you can just make fun of it. But for me, the Country Bear Jamboree is not what I expect when going to Disney World. You know, it can be funny, you can make fun of it, but it's on the bottom of this list, let's be honest. The next one is actually a surprise for me. I thought it would be higher up on this list before I made it, but after hours of deliberation, this is where it falls, and it's Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. And for me, with the Toy Story Mania ride in Hollywood Studios, it brings it down a lot because that ride is so much better than Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. It's kind of dirty, and there are too many people who watch YouTube videos on like that one spot you can hit to get like 1,000,000 points in one go. So for me, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, I thought it'd be higher, but it's lower, towards the bottom actually. Let's move on. Guys, I promise I don't hate classic Disney rides, but this is 2020, this is modern Disney World, and for me, the People Mover, it's a nice relaxing time, I get that, but as an attraction, I'm not looking forward to going and riding it. So now we've gotten rid of the bottom tier rides. We're still not in the middle tier rides, but we're inching up, and we get there with Aladdin. You know, it is what it is. And then I'm also going to throw in the Astro Orbiter during the day. During the night, it's somewhere else on this list, but during the day, Aladdin and Astro Orbiter, you know, they are what they are, and that's why they're here. So there we go. Next up, we have Prince Charming's Royal Carousel, and I don't think anyone is going to be upset with its placement on this list, unless you're 2 years old. This might be your favorite ride if you're that age, but for most of you, you may not even know this existed. So Prince Charming's Royal Carousel, in the middle, but a little bit lower. Next up, we have the Dumbo attraction, and you might be wondering, oh, why is it above Aladdin and the Astro Orbiter? Well, there's two of them, so that's why. Okay, so for the next attraction, I guarantee you don't even think it's on this list because it straight up doesn't exist anymore. And I know that piques your curiosity. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. If you tap that subscribe button and give me one of these, the video will continue. If not, the video will just end and you'll never know the mystery attraction. I'm just joking. The mystery attraction is Stitch's Great Escape, and as we all know, it's been closed for quite a while. I'd say at least 5 years now, but on Disney's website, it says temporarily closed for some reason, so I gotta put it on this list. Now we're starting to get into the middle tier of Magic Kingdom rides. Nothing extraordinary, nothing bad, you know, average Magic Kingdom rides. And to start off the middle tier, we have the Voyage of the Little Mermaid. You know, it's great for the younger kids, but anyone over, say, the age of 13, you know, it's an okay ride. Next up are the Enchanted Tales with Belle, and don't get me wrong, I love the princesses, but at the end of the day, you're getting a picture taken, and you can get those at Kmart. Next, we have another attraction that I thought would be much higher up on this list, but the more I thought about it and the more I tried to recount this song, the more I got annoyed, and for me, it's the Small World. If you had to ride this ride over and over and over and over again, maybe say 4 times, you would get annoyed very quickly. I have the song stuck in my head, and it's not coming out. That's why it falls in the middle of the pack for me. Next up is probably the tamest roller coaster at Disney World. Definitely Magic Kingdom, and that is the Barnstormer. You know, it's pretty fun. I just wish it was a little bit longer. For me, if it was longer, it would be higher up on this list because it's pretty fun, but it's very short, like 20 seconds, maybe 30. Just make it a little longer, Disney, that's all. Wow, so now we're in top 10 territory, and I mentioned these shows that I do not prefer towards the beginning of the video, but now we're at one that I really do enjoy, and that is PhilharMagic. You have the 3D glasses, you have the 4D effects, the wind, the water sprays, all that. It's a great show and a good time to get out of the summer heat. Next, we have the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and this is a great ride for the whole family. It's not too scary, but you know, any age can still enjoy it. Great ride. Now we have my cousin's all-time favorite ride, the Tomorrowland Speedway. And when I was riding with him, he was going absolutely insane with the steering wheel. I honestly thought we were going to flip over, but it was really fun. And you can check out that full video here. It's absolutely insane. But anyway, Tomorrowland Speedway, good ride. And who can't love those toxic fumes when you're breathing them in? It's so strong, but you know, it's kind of good for those of us who like that smell. Okay, so now we have another classic Disney attraction, and that is the Pirates of the Caribbean. You gotta love it, you gotta love Captain Jack Sparrow, and you gotta love this ride. It's a great classic Disney attraction full of Imagineering by the wonderful Disney Imagineers. It's a great ride, you must ride it. Moving on. Oh, I bet you couldn't even tell that I love the Pirates of the Caribbean, but something that ranks a little bit above it is the Jungle Cruise. And now it would be even cooler if this was an Animal Kingdom and there were real animals, but you know, that can't happen. That was actually Walt's first idea, but you know, someone said maybe that's not a great idea to have alligators 2 feet from guest, but it's still a good ride, and depending on your tour guide, it can be a little bit lower or a little bit higher. It just depends on who you get. So now we have part 2 for another one that was very low on this list, and that's Astro Orbiter at night. For some reason, I just love riding the Astro Orbiter at night. Personally, I might even think it's better than Space Mountain, but I was having such a hard time putting it above Space Mountain for this list, so I have Space Mountain 1 ahead of it, but Astro Orbiter at night, the atmosphere is so great. It's not as hot way up top, you're spinning, got the air in your face, all the lights. Great attraction. I almost put it above Space Mountain, but now we have Space Mountain, and it's another great attraction. Everyone says that the Disneyland version is much better. I've never been to Disneyland, so I don't personally know, but number 5, Space Mountain at Magic Kingdom. The next attraction is so impressive in its own right because it is also the oldest attraction at Disney World, and we are talking, of course, about Peter Pan's Flight, a great ride. You gotta see it for what it is, a Disney classic. Everyone should love this ride. The only knock against it are the wait times. The wait times can get a little bit long or a lot long, and the best way to combat this is by going early in the morning and going straight to Peter Pan's Flight, or you can also try to get a Fastpass for it. Either way, it's a great ride and a classic Disney attraction. We are now into the top 3 Magic Kingdom attractions, and for number 3, I have the 7 Dwarfs Mine Train. This ride is so incredibly smooth. When you're riding it, it is absolutely amazing. Definitely the smoothest roller coaster I have ever been on. My only knock against it, and the reason it's not up higher, is because I feel like it's super short for the wait. The wait is usually around 2 hours long, and it's kind of a short ride. All right, it's time for number 2, and for number 2, I have Thunder Mountain Railroad. A bit controversial putting it above the Mine Train, but it's longer. It's a longer ride, and if you ride in the back, it'll whip you around. It is absolutely amazing. I love Thunder Mountain Railroad in the back seat. And finally, we have the number 1 attraction in all of Magic Kingdom, and it is, of course, Splash Mountain, the perfect mix of Disney Imagineering and thrill. I love this ride. There's nothing you can do to make it better. It is absolutely perfect, and the pictures you get from it, the best. And that is every single attraction ranked from worst to best in order for my Binge travelers, and this was a really fun video to make. I'm just gonna have to rank everything else, including the other parks. I wanna rank restaurants. We have tons more videos coming, so be sure to subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll see you next week.